Buffy Sainte-Marie, welcome to Uprising.
Thank you.
It's a real honor to have you here in studio. Tell us about this new album of yours, Running for the Drum, and what does the title mean?
Running for the Drum is, it implies excitement, gathering, unity, a powwow. A powwow is a cultural event. Anybody can come. It's very relaxed and it's a lot of fun. So some of the songs on the album are definitely Native American in tone. There are a couple of jazz songs. There are love songs. There's a rockabilly song. There's this thing that sounds like New Orleans that I recorded with my friend Taj Mahal. We're playing duet piano. So it's a very, very diverse album. And my albums are always diverse. From the very first one in 1964, they're very diverse and continue to be so. So I had taken, I've never been like a record company kind of artist. I kind of record on my own schedule when I feel like it, and there's no sense recording when you don't feel like touring. So I did feel like touring again, and I had I have a recording studio at home, and I had lots and lots of demos that I make at home. I called my co-producer, Chris Burkett, to come over and work with me, and I flew him over from France 4 or 5 times to Hawaii, where I live, and we just tried to recreate and clean up a lot of my demos and added some new things. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun touring with it.
And are you actively back in the music scene now, especially now that your son has grown up and you feel freer with your time?
That's exactly it. Yeah, I do. Also, this record, I could have put it out 10 years ago, but who wants to put an album out during the Bush years when you have a history like my own? I had a whole lot of blacklisting going on, apparently.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk to you just briefly about that for our listeners.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about it.
Right.
I mean, I found out about it on the internet, and then I found out about the CIA guy who came forward and said that he had been involved in suppressing my career. But the FBI files I had found out in the 80s, but there's nothing you can do about it. So, and the FBI files were all marked out anyway, so the Freedom of Information Act is kind of a crock. So I can't tell you a whole lot about it.
They just stopped playing your music on the radio mysteriously at some point, and your records weren't reaching the people that were trying to buy them.
Yeah, there's a little more to it than that. The Lyndon Johnson administration for his 4 years, and then Richard Nixon. So it was both a Democratic and then a Republican administration, and apparently they did not want my songs about
the war,
corporate greed and war, and they did not, and especially the transfer of Indian lands to who knows who. Just the theft of Indian lands was big time then, and they didn't want anybody. I wasn't the only one who was put out of business. But did you ever notice that all of a sudden it went away? Well, I did too, but I thought people had just changed their taste. So I don't know. So
you didn't want to put out an album during the Bush years because you thought that you might come under that kind of scrutiny again?
No. I just knew I couldn't get any play. Because media really is influenced by government, whether we want to believe it or not. Okay, KPFK is not. I understand. I've been coming to KPFK for a very long time, by the way.
Well, and KPFK has been following your career as well for a very long time.
Thanks.
So, what is the importance of you expressing your political views in your music? I mean, you're not only a musician, you do so many other things. You're also a visual artist, and you do a lot of public speaking. Why is music such a useful vehicle for political expression?
I think music's a vehicle for all kinds of expression, and I hate it when we categorize it as political or non-political. I'm one person with one brain, but just like you and everybody else, I do think about the environmental greed. It affects me. But I also fall in love. I also love to dance. And to me, it's not cut and dried, all split. So my album is it's like 12 little movies, and each one is itself. I think, though, that the 3-minute song, whether it's about social issues or something else, just 3 minutes. It's such a short attention span. It reaches people. Most people are not going to go out and buy a 400-page book. you're not. But if you can express the same thing in a song, I think you've really done something. I've just always loved songwriters and that art.
One of your best-known songs from a past era is Universal Soldier, which many think of as an anthem during the anti-war movement. How relevant is that song today, given the wars we're in?
Apparently it's very relevant. The people it's gotten a lot of awards lately. It's in the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, the song is. It's still recorded all over the world in all different languages. So sometimes you can write something in a 3-minute song form, and other people will take it across the world. I was very fortunate in coming up during the time that they were calling folk music. Because a folk song is like an antique chair. It's something that's so beautiful that people remember and take care of it and use it generation after generation. So
it's
that's
timeless.
Yes, it's timeless. And that's such an incredible example that folk singers, we were called folk singers, the songwriters of the folk singer 60s years, it's such a great example that we had.
And in this new album, folk is probably not the genre that one would use to describe your music, although admittedly genres can be very narrowing to musicians, but you're not quite a folk singer anymore.
Well, I never was. No, I didn't sing folk songs. I was a songwriter, but that wasn't hip yet. It's all about marketing, show business and the record business and movies. It's not about what it's really about. It's about how you market it and what you say it's about. So I wasn't singing folk songs. Bob Dylan wasn't singing folk songs. Phil Oakes wasn't singing folk songs. Eric Anderson wasn't either. But it was a time when there were folk singers around who really did sing folk songs. And this album does have a couple of acoustic songs that somebody might kindly call folk songs, but they're not. They're just songs I wrote. The album also, though, has, for instance, the song No No Keshagesh. Keshagesh is a Cree word. Cree is the biggest tribe in Canada. And Keshagesh means literally greedy guts. And it's the name that we had for a little puppy who'd eat all his own dinner and then he'd want everybody else's. So it's a metaphor for greed, and in this case it's environmental greed. But I put it to a, kind of a rock and Euro rock sound. And it sounds like it's at a rally. So, another one, Cho-Cho Fire, is also, it's just full of Native American feeling, but it's not about any social issue at all. It's about having a great time at a powwow. Still This Love Goes On and On is about life on the reservation. It's just real quiet acoustic song. One song is from a long time ago. The others are all new. Little Wheel Spin and Spin is also on the album.
And that's a remake of one of your older
Yes,
songs.
it is. Yeah, it is.
And how is this version different from the old version?
It's pretty much the same, except that it's better recording techniques now. I sang it again, of course, and played it again. Hopefully I'm a much better singer and guitar player now, but it's pretty much the same.
Tell me about America the Beautiful.
Oh, thanks. America the Beautiful, I had the privilege of singing this song at the launch, the NASA launch of the first Native American astronaut, Commander John Harrington. He's Chickasaw, and NASA invited me to come and sing. And I sang Up Where We Belong, which is my Academy Award song, and I sang A Star Walker, which is very well known in Indian country. And America the Beautiful is such a beautiful melody, and although it's been rewritten and added to by lots and lots of songwriters, I wanted to do a version that sounded the way that I think of the Americas and the way that indigenous people in the Americas think about the Western Hemisphere, or if you think about North America, Turtle Island. So it's very much an Indian treatment. I wrote a new introduction and a new middle bit, and added some words.
There were a few lines there that I
Yes.
hadn't heard before.
Yeah, no, I totally rewrote 2 sections of it. But it's such a beautiful song, and so many other people have written their own versions. If you look it up online, though, not my version, if you look up America the Beautiful online, you see there are a lot of real racist versions, too. So it's a beautiful, multi-purposable melody that many Americans from many points of view have chosen to interpret.